Hey, Ronnie here for Four Wheeling in Western Australia. In this video, I'm going to show you our navigation and communication equipment that we use in the Land Cruiser when we do our video trips, the trips that you guys have been watching. Now, I've been asked a few questions about what's this aerial for and oh, I've noticed you got like a spot device and stuff like that. So I'm going to cover everything that we use in regards to just communication and navigation. Let's get into it. Antenna time. On the front here, I have my AM, FM radio. It's just for radio stations, you know, like you have in a normal vehicle. Except for I've gone for this aerial here, because if it hits a branch, it's just going to bow, whereas the factory one would just snap off. Moving on to my UHF radios, the CB radios, ultra high frequency. This is a 3 dB. For my second radio, that's right, my second one, because I have two radios. And my first and main radio is up here, the aerial for it anyway, the antenna. It is also 3 dB. It's on the roof because you get far better range on the roof. There's no interference from anywhere. Also, I've kept them apart because you put these UHF aerials too close together and they're both on, they can interfere with each other. Rightio. I'll now run you through the actual radios. This is my commercial grade ICOM radio, ICOM 400. It runs off the 3 dB aerial on the roof and it gives me a range up to 20 kilometers. We've had that numerous times. Normally about 15 Ks or so. That's how much difference it is when you throw the aerial on the roof. Second radio is my GME. I can actually change channels on the handheld in this one, which is handy because it's the unit that's behind me here, so it's a bit of a pain to drive and do it at the same time. So what I normally do is I'll leave this one on channel 40 on the highway. I can hear all the truckies, I can hear all the road workers, and this will stay on the private channel that we picked, which is usually in the higher end of the 80 channels. Now that big bastard up here, that is a HF radio. That is for long range communication. Now it's currently not hooked up because I've just moved it from the bull bar up to here, as some of you guys would know. This thing here will give you long range radio communications in the middle of nowhere. This is VKS 2438 signing in.
Copy, mobile 2438. How are you this afternoon, Ronnie? Over.
Very good, thank you. How are you? Over.
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. What's your location there today? Over.
HF radio is long range. There's a lot of interference on this radio, like you need to switch the car off really to be able to use it properly. Depending on which fridge you have, it interferes. It's not really a practical device. Well, it hasn't really been for me, which is also part of the reason why I've moved the aerial to the roof and I'm going to move all the wiring to the back. So hopefully it's not going through all the engine stuff and hopefully that'll sort it out. But that's been my experience so far. This is a Barrett 950. The range is about 3,000 kilometers if the conditions are right. And to be honest, I've used it maybe 5 times and they've all been radio checks just to make sure before a remote trip that it's working. So if we did need to use it in case of emergency, we could use it. So that's pretty much all it's there for. To have this, you need a license too. A lot cheaper to run than a satellite phone. So which is why we got it to start with. This is a spot locator. This is the Gen 1. So it's the first ones that came out. I believe they are the first ones. I've had this for quite a while and we use this for our main crew that comes out on our trip videos. We can let our family and friends know exactly where we are. Once we activate the OK button, it will send a signal to the satellite. The satellite will send a signal to the database or HQ, whatever you want to call it. And that'll then send emails out to all these people. Now, when I get the email, they'll get a link, a URL link, and they can click on that, which will take them to a Google Earth thing, and they'll see our exact location from where we sent the signal. So usually in the morning when we leave camp, and at night when we get to camp, we'll send a signal, and then they know we're okay and we're still moving. Now it does have 2 emergency buttons on it. And when I mean 2, there's a semi-emergency button. That means we need help, but it's not urgent. Don't send all emergency services, we just need help where we are. The other one is a full emergency button. So you press that, then it will send a signal to get the emergency authorities to come and help you out or extract you. Then we're going to move on to navigation. I use the HEMA HN6, and the reason why I use the HEMA is because all of my paper maps are pretty much HEMA, so I'm familiar with the maps. And not only am I familiar with the maps, I'm familiar with the system because I've got the HEMA HN5i here. This is one of the first ones they brought out. This thing has been banged around a bit, as you can see. Still going strong though. But one thing I will say about these is when you have them plugged in constantly to your power, the battery's going to suffer. It's a bit like plugging your laptop in to PowerPoint constantly and you don't let the battery do its thing. Eventually the battery just is no good. But it's not really an issue because it remains plugged in all the time. I rarely pull it out of the car. The only time I pull it out of the car is if I'm going to do something with the computer, which is plug it into USB, put some tracks on there, put some points on there, extract tracks from there, stuff like that. Now, this one here is going to retire soon, or not going to retire, this one's going to retire. That one's going to go to the Jeep because I've got the new HN7 here. Now, I've been so busy making videos, I haven't even unboxed this yet. The exciting thing about this is, yeah, the screen is bigger, but the maps are more detailed in this one. So the topo map used to be 250k. This one is now 150k, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to make navigating a lot easier when you don't have the local maps for the areas. Well, that's pretty much it in regards to my communication and navigation that I'll use. If you've got any questions about them, just put them in the comments below because I've used these devices a fair bit. Obviously I haven't used the HN7 much yet because I haven't even pulled it out of the box yet. So maybe in a future video I'll let you know how that goes or do a review on a website or something like that. If you want more information on UHF radio communications, there will be some more videos and they'll be down here once they're made. They might even be there now, depending on when you watch this video. And you can subscribe right here. Take care out on the tracks and trails. See ya.